First at 5, stunning new claims from Curt Schilling regarding the deal that brought 38 Studios to Rhode Island.
In his first interview since the company's failure, Schilling said he did nothing wrong, but then went on to accuse others of questionable actions behind the scenes.
And we have team coverage tonight. WPRI.com reporter Ted Nisi fills us in on something Schilling admits he got wrong in his Providence Journal op-ed from over the weekend.
But we begin with Eyewitness News reporter Steph Machado live with what else Schilling had to say this morning.
Well, Curt Schilling said a lot in his 3 hours on the radio this morning, but he did not offer an apology to the taxpayers of Rhode Island for the failure of 38 Studios. Curt Schilling has promised to tell the whole uncut story of what happened with 38 Studios. Today on WPRO was his first Rhode Island interview since his video game company went bankrupt.
There was no malice. There was no criminal intent. I didn't steal or take anything.
Schilling said he was sorry to his own employees and other businesses that ended up being adversely affected once 38 Studios collapsed. But he refused to apologize to the people of Rhode Island who were left on the hook for millions of dollars worth of bonds.
What do people want me to apologize for?
Schilling said in hindsight he realizes how secretive the 38 Studios deal was.
There were things like the first time I met him, I was supposed to go into the back door of the State House because they didn't want any media to see me going in.
He claims the plan all along between himself, Michael Corso, Gordon Fox, and Stephen Costantino was for the money from the loan guarantee program to go to 38 Studios. And he says he was shocked to find out at the House floor debate on the bill that other lawmakers didn't know that.
I realized that nobody in the legislation had any idea that this $75 million was completely earmarked for 38 Studios.
He also accused Michael Corso of acting illegally, even though the state police and attorney general have found no evidence of a crime. Corso's attorney said in response he wants to blame everyone but himself for making what has proven to be a very poor business decision, not only for himself in the state of Rhode Island. Curt's comments are completely reckless and false. And the Attorney General's office has declined to comment on any of the allegations Schilling made today. Now, Schilling also continued to attack former Governor Lincoln Chafee. We'll bring you what he said coming up new at 6. And also our current governor, Gina Raimondo, responds to his lack of apology to the taxpayers of Rhode Island. Reporting live in Providence with the Mobile Newsroom, I'm Steph Machado, Eyewitness News.
Years ago, Curt Schilling broke his silence about his failed video game company 38 Studios and the deal Rhode Island gave him to bring his company to the Ocean State.
That failed deal affected every Rhode Island taxpayer, leaving them on the hook for millions of dollars. Eyewitness News once again with live in-depth coverage of this important story. Target 12 investigator Tim White looks into further the criminality and permits of the deal.
But first, Steph Machado is live in Providence with more details on what Schilling says about who knew what and when.
Curt Schilling spent much of his 3 hours on the radio this morning accusing other people of wrongdoing, but he did say the failure of his video game company, 38 Studios, was on him. He did not apologize to the taxpayers of Rhode Island. No apology to Rhode Islanders from Curt Schilling over the failed 38 Studios deal that left taxpayers on the hook for millions of dollars.
What do people want me to apologize for? Because a lot of what people want me to apologize for never happened, or I never did.
People are angry, and I'm angry, and I think that anyone who was involved with that deal ought to apologize.
Governor Gina Raimondo was against the deal from the start and says it's time to move forward and work on recouping the money lost. Former Governor Lincoln Chafee has said the same. Schilling spent some of his 3 hours on the radio this morning bashing Chafee.
I thought after meeting him and hearing him talk that he had a learning disability.
Schilling also said in hindsight he realizes many of the dealings with people like Gordon Fox were a little too secret.
There were things like the first time I met him, I was supposed to go into the back door of the State House because they didn't want any media to see me going in.
And he claims he didn't realize that others outside of himself, Fox, Stephen Costantino, and Michael Corso didn't know that the money from the loan guarantee program was going towards 38 Studios from the start.
I realized that nobody in the legislation had any idea that this $75 million was completely earmarked for 38 Studios.
And a spokesperson for Lincoln Chafee says he has no comment on the new things that Schilling said about him today. Over the weekend, Chafee said he was proud to have opposed 38 Studios from the start. And Curt Schilling also said today he does want to run for Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren's seat in 2018, but he says he has to check with his wife first. I'm Steph Machado, Eyewitness News.